few years ago, three West African countries did something bold, something that shocked Western powers and made other African nations take notice. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger walked away from their colonial era relationships and built something new. And what's happening now, let's just say it's not what the experts predicted. I have been following this story closely, and honestly, it kept me digging deeper because what's unfolding in Sahel right now is unprecedented. So the real question is this experiment actually working? Before 2023, these three countries were struggling hard. Niger was among the world's poorest nations, even though they're sitting on uranium that literally powers nuclear plants across Europe. Mali had French troops stationed everywhere, supposedly fighting terrorism, but the violence, it just kept escalating. Burkina Faso couldn't make major decisions without checking with Paris first. There is an African proverb that captures this perfectly. The one who plants the tree doesn't get to enjoy its shade. That was these countries in a nutshell, creating wealth that everyone else harvested. Then came September 16, 2023. They signed the Liptako-Gorma Charter and formed the Alliance of Sahel States, or AES for short. Now, this wasn't just another trade agreement gathering dust in some government office. This was them saying, we're done asking for permission. And the reaction? Intense. Remember when ECOWAS, the regional West African bloc, threatened military intervention in Niger? Every analyst said these countries were finished, that they couldn't survive without external support. But then something remarkable happened. Nigeria's parliament voted against the invasion. Nigerian generals who were supposed to lead that military operation went on record saying they wouldn't fight their own brothers. Across the continent, people started defending the Sahel states' right to chart their own course. If you're enjoying this deep dive into African politics and want more content like this one, hit that subscribe button and turn on notification for Africa Inside with Hikmah, and I'm bringing you stories that matter and perspectives that challenge the mainstream narrative. Alright, let's get back to it. Here's the thing. Though standing up to threats is one thing, actually building something better, that's where most movements fall apart. Except this one did not fall apart. While everyone predicted economic collapse, these countries did something nobody saw coming. They pulled nearly $900 million and created their own investment bank. Think about what that means. For decades, they had to go to commercial banks charging astronomical interest rates for short-term loans that kept them trapped into debt cycles. Now they control their own long-term financing for infrastructure projects. But here is what really caught my attention: Burkina Faso's infrastructure revolution. President Ibrahim Traoré announced plans to build 5,000 kilometers of paved roads. Now, before you think, okay, that's nice, let me give you context. From independence in 1960 all the way to 2022, that's over 60 years, Burkina Faso had built just 3,000 kilometers of paved roads in total. He's planning to build more than double that figure. I kept asking myself, where was this capacity hiding all along? How do you go from we need external help for everything to building infrastructure at breakneck speed? Then it clicked. When you stop having to justify every decision to donors in 3 different capitals, when you're not jumping through endless bureaucratic hoops, you can actually move fast. Now let's talk numbers. According to recent reports, Niger's economy grew by an impressive 8.4% in 2024, up from just 2% in 2023. The World Bank projects growth could reach 7.4% in 2025, driven largely by oil production. Some sources even suggest growth could hit double digits, potentially making Niger one of Africa's fastest growing economies. We're talking about a country that was among the poorest on earth just a few years ago. Burkina Faso's infrastructure boom is visible from space. Mali is making serious progress toward food self-sufficiency. All these are measurable changes happening on the ground. But you know what really gets me? The confidence. When I watch these leaders speak, they're not apologizing, they're not seeking validation from Paris, Brussels, or Washington. They're governing like they run actual sovereign countries. And that psychological shift might be the biggest change of all. Because here's what I have learned covering African politics. The biggest barrier to development has never been resources or capacity. It's been what some call mental colonialization, where leaders seek approval from outside instead of focusing on delivering results for their own people. the Sahel alliance just broke that cycle. While France's influence crumbles, guess who's moving in? Russia just signed nuclear cooperation deals with these countries. China is stepping up partnerships, but here's the smart part. They kept the CFA franc for now. They're not burning bridges overnight. They're actually building new ones while carefully managing the transition. That's what we're seeing. They've also created a mutual defense pact with a simple message: attack one, you're attacking all three. They're building a joint military force. But let's be real for a second. This is not without challenge. I mean, these countries withdrew from ECOWAS in early 2024. They pulled out of International Criminal Court, calling it biased against African nations. The message is clear. They're overhauling the entire framework. And that's what makes this so significant. If this model works, it becomes a template. Every regional bloc in Africa will start asking, why are we organizing around external approval instead of internal results? But if it fails, if security deteriorates, if economies crash, if the alliance breaks up, it reinforces every argument about why Africa supposedly needs external guidance. So, where does this go? The next few years will be crucial. We're either watching the birth of a new model for African sovereignty, or we are watching another experiment that couldn't handle the weight of reality. Here's what I think. This is a prototype for what African integration could look like when it's fast, decisive, and locally controlled. And stop asking whether you agree with every decision these leaders make. That's not the point. The question is, do you believe Africans can govern themselves better than external powers can govern them? Because that's what the Alliance of Sahel States is really testing. So, what do you think? Can this model spread across Africa, or is this just a moment that will fade when reality hits? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I have a feeling we're about to find out. This is Hikmah Tamam, and you have been watching Africa Inside with Hikmah. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the narrative.